Star Trek Voyager is finally getting a comeback, but what will its continuation do? Star Trek Voyager is finally making a comeback, but what will its continuation look like? The show celebrates its 30th anniversary in 2025, and to celebrate, IDW Publishing, who has held the Star Trek comic book rights since 2006, is launching a special miniseries. Titled Star Trek Voyager Homecoming, the book looks at what happened after the titular ship made it home, offering some exciting story possibilities. As reported here on Screen Rant and other outlets, IDW will launch Star Trek Voyager Homecoming this September as part of a new wave of Trek titles coming in the wake of Star Trek Omega. The book, which will be written by Tilly and Susan Bridges and drawn by Trek Comics veteran Angel Hernandez, follows what happens to the ship upon its return to Earth. IDW's official synopsis for the book reads, 30 years after the show made its unforgettable debut, Captain Janeway and the crew of the USS Voyager are back for one final mission before they head home. From imaginative co-writers Tilly and Susan Bridges and acclaimed artist Angel Hernandez comes Star Trek Voyager Homecoming this September, a 5-issue limited series that offers the final resolution fans have been waiting decades to witness. The final shot of the Emmy Award-winning series featured the iconic ship approaching Earth before the screen goes dark. But what if just moments after that, there was one last emergency for the determined Captain Janeway and her brave crew? The 1990s are commonly referred to as the golden age of Star Trek, and Voyager's premiere in January 1995 is regarded as one of its highlights. The fifth entry in the Star Trek franchise, Voyager broke new ground in several ways. It was the first Star Trek show since the original series to air on a broadcast network as opposed to syndication. Second, it was the first Trek show to feature a woman captain. Finally, Voyager explored an entirely new sector of the Star Trek galaxy, the distant Delta Quadrant. Star Trek Voyager, like its predecessors, was an immediate hit with fans. Under the guidance of Captain Kathryn Janeway, played by Kate Mulgrew, the crew of Voyager fought off the Kazan, the Hirogen, the Viridans, and the Borg, all while staying true to the ideals of Starfleet and the Federation. Voyager ran for 7 seasons, ending in 2001. Its final episode, titled Endgame, saw Voyager finally make it home, thanks to assistance from a future version of Janeway. As noted in IDW's synopsis for Homecoming, the final scene of the episode was Voyager returning to Earth, escorted by the fleet. After more than 2 decades adrift in the vastness of Star Trek history, Star Trek Voyager is finally getting the comeback fans have long hoped for. Though the Delta Quadrant adventures wrapped up in 2001 with a controversial finale, the legacy of Captain Kathryn Janeway and her intrepid crew has only grown stronger over the years. Between nostalgic reverence, the rise of Janeway as an icon of Starfleet leadership, and an increasingly connected Trek universe, the time has never been better to chart a new course for Voyager. But the big question now isn't just if it's coming back, it's what that continuation will do. Janeway's return was just the beginning. Kate Mulgrew's return as a holographic version of Janeway in Star Trek Prodigy lit a spark that couldn't be ignored. While the show was primarily aimed at younger audiences, it reintroduced Janeway to a whole new generation and reminded longtime fans just how commanding and complex she is. Mulgrew's performance proved that Janeway still has more stories to tell. And with Prodigy now laying the groundwork for a deeper Delta Quadrant narrative and characters like Chakotay re-entering canon, Voyager is no longer a closed book, it's a living story. The Legacy crew, where are they now? One of the most exciting possibilities for a Voyager continuation lies in exploring where the main crew ended up after returning to Earth. In the original finale, Endgame, we got only the briefest glimpse of their post-return lives. What happened to B'Elanna Torres and Tom Paris as parents? Did Tuvok's illness hinted at in Picard Season 2 progress? Is 7 of 9 still working to define herself in the Alpha Quadrant, or has she truly found peace? With Jerry Ryan's 7 now a major figure in Star Trek, Picard and recently promoted to captain, a potential Voyager continuation could dive into the relationships between old friends and explore whether Janeway and Seven's dynamic remains as charged and emotional as ever. Could Voyager go back to the Delta Quadrant? The original premise of Voyager, a lone Federation ship stranded tens of thousands of light years from home, was a compelling setup that fostered both exploration and isolation. A new Voyager story doesn't have to rehash that premise, but it might benefit from revisiting the Delta Quadrant. Now that Starfleet has more advanced propulsion technology, including potential spin-offs of transwarp or slipstream drive, the Delta Quadrant is within reach. A new mission could be launched not out of desperation, but choice. What new civilizations were left unexplored? What alliances or enemies from Voyager's first mission still remember them and possibly resent them? Bringing Voyager back to the Delta Quadrant, now as a diplomatic or exploratory mission led by seasoned officers, could be the perfect blend of nostalgia and progression. A Federation reckoning. Voyager was always about more than Alien of the Week episodes. It explored themes of identity, duty, and moral compromise, especially through characters like the Doctor and Seven. A continuation could lean into this even further. What does the Federation look like now, and how does it remember Voyager's crew? Were Janeway's countless rule-bending decisions and occasional prime directives skirting quietly buried or celebrated? Could there be political ramifications from the crew's actions in the Delta Quadrant now coming back to haunt them? A grown Naomi Wildman or a mature Icub in an alternate timeline from the tragic fate Picard gave him could be part of this next generation, dealing with the weight of their unusual upbringings and legacy. Voyager's AI and tech. What became of the Doctor? One of Voyager's most innovative characters was the emergency medical hologram known as the Doctor. Over 7 seasons, he evolved from a glitchy program into a fully realized, emotionally rich person. His arc raised questions about consciousness, personhood, and rights for synthetic life forms. In a continuation, the Doctor's fate could serve as a centerpiece. Did he ever succeed in getting legal recognition from Starfleet? Is he still advocating for AI rights? Or has he built a life for himself beyond Starfleet's boundaries? Robert Picardo has expressed interest in returning, and fans would love nothing more than to see what became of the Doctor. Whether he's leading a movement or simply practicing medicine with wit and charm, his return would offer both heart and commentary. A chance to right Endgame's wrongs. While Endgame gave us a thrilling finale, many fans felt it robbed the show of closure. The return to Earth was so abrupt that it left too many questions unanswered. A new series, limited series, or even a feature-length streaming movie could finally give those moments the weight they deserve. We could see Admiral Janeway dealing with her post-Voyager career, perhaps haunted by the sacrifices she made. We could explore how the crew reintegrated into a society they hadn't seen in 7 years. There are emotional stories left untold, ones that could finally be brought to life with the same depth and sophistication Star Trek has grown into with shows like Picard and Strange New Worlds. Who's at the helm? If there is a new Voyager mission, one of the biggest questions is who would command the ship. Janeway is likely an admiral still, if not even higher, and her leadership might be more strategic or diplomatic from Starfleet Command. Seven could take the captain's chair, tying into her Picard promotion and giving us a beautiful mentor-mentee reversal from a